play in the aeroplane tree, and I played in it. You went to the back of All Saints churchyard and just up the wooden steps, and it lay to your left, and it went over like that, right over, and you could walk straight in. And we used to sweep it out with gorse, and it made a lovely house. And then we had a stream running not far, and we could get all of our water, you see. We were gone all day, and as they said, why go home when there's nothing to go home for? When you've got 10 children, what's the good of going home, as they say? There's nothing there.
We used to go down to the stage and get winkles or go down to see if there are any fish hanging around, you know. I don't know whether we pinched it. And then you could get 3 penny worth of this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let him go again.
Several old ladies used to go down and count the fish. They used to throw it in great piles and herrings, and they used to count them in 5s, and then every so often they would chalk it on the boat. 1, 1. I didn't really understand it. 1, 1, 1. That's how they wrote it, and quite old ladies. They'd have a bit of old Macintosh and Neil on it, and then they'd count this great pile of fish, and they used to put them in baskets, and the fishermen would carry them up.
And he used to say on a Sunday morning, "Now come along, Pinny," because he called me Pim for my nickname. "Go down to Ratton's, which is a shop in the Bourne. Well, I want 3 penny worth of Ratton's selected bacon," and I never thought it was funny. I thought that was the name. And he saw us for 3 penny worth of Ratton's selected bacon. And there's all pieces of fat and stuff. He'd roll it up and take it home. And you'd get a piece of fish from somewhere. He cooked the fish with the bacon. It was beautiful, plenty of salt and pepper and that. And he used to cook up a meal like that for breakfast on Sunday. Then he would make us toffee on Sunday. We always had that, and then his blessed accordion would come out, and we used to have him.
Friday nights are best because you get enough pocket money to go to the shop and get 4 things worth of licorice sticks.
See, there was bloater dealers. There was one person who used to do the bloaters in Bourne Road. There was the watercress people in Bourne Road, barbers, and then there was all the little shops. We had so many little shops around here. We used to grow watercress. There was a man who used to get it up at the station. He used to come in wicker baskets with lids, and he'd sell it 1 farthing and 2 farthings a bunch, or 1 penny and 2 pennies a bunch. And there was Genty Willett. She used to go out with her basket on her hand, carrying it on her arm, and sell buttons and needles and tapes, and pegs, bootlaces, and all kinds of things.
They didn't have public demonstration, but I know one family somehow managed, I think they must have had a solicitor. I think they went away and got a solicitor who fought it because they were pretty cottages. Really, I don't know why they pulled them down, really. They were very pretty cottages. And they got their council houses really cheap. And they built too. They, what you call, won the day. But there was 1 or 2 protests, you see, and they were all sent to Hardwick Road, which none of them liked, because it was entirely new. Well, quite a different area altogether for them, you see. But it was the fishermen who must have found it hard to have had to go right up there. There were a lot of fishermen living there. Yeah, they've slowly come back round here. Well, the younger ones all live down here now, don't they? But it must have been hard for them because they were mostly where the fishermen lived, you see, all these little places. Must have been, yeah. And they went right down through West Street. There was houses right to the end of this Bourne Road, right down. Because I love walking through West Street. You can still see parts of the old Hastings that was there. And the end of the Bourne was quite narrow because there used to be little cottages from the chapel down. And there were all these little Tudor cottages, only plastered over. But every one of them was oak timbered. Really, they've ruined it, haven't they, Hastings? Been ruined. Well, I suppose it's better for the people. It's more hygienic. They've got nice homes now. You know what I mean. They've got bathrooms. And, you see, they couldn't have afforded to buy these houses.
To fetch her poor dog a bone, but when she came there,
I had 5 children. I was number 1. I had to look after all the others, of course. There was me, then brother Claude, Sister Laurel, then Robert, and then Marion. She did all the cooking and the washing, and there wasn't a finer washer than my mum. I could never get my clothes like it. And she washed in the wash house with a scrubbing board. Must have been murder to the clothes, really. Murder. And a big old scrubbing brush. Oh, they sang. They all had their days. Some would wash on Mondays. And they had a big old stone copper. Used to get rid of all your old rubbish. Old boots used to make the copper sing.
It was a long day, from dawn to dusk, absolutely. There was no restrictions in those days on how many hours you worked. You just did what you were told to do, and that was the job. And if you didn't take what you thought was unfair, the injustice of it, the injustice to the poorer classes was downright disgraceful as I see it now. Of course, what they did, my father and many others, they took the jobs for the simple reason that the capitalists were more or less Tories. And if you didn't take the job, you got nothing to live on. What a blessing it was when the unions really began to come into their own, to get the rights of the working people that they were justly entitled. For this here, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, and bowing and scraping was all wrong. Entirely wrong.
Snakes always wakes the fat begins to cry. Nobody at home but John came alone, father, mother and I. Stick, stock, stone, dead. Blind man can't see. Every knave will have a slave. You're I.
My father was a countryman, really. He came from Appledore in Kent. So he thought nothing of walking over there and walking us kids over there with him, you know. So we were always well supplied with vegetables. I never remember going hungry. I don't say there was a terrific lot of money, but we were never without. And we were always well fed and clothed. We seemed to be the only kids around St Leonard's that really ever had a holiday. You see, because being that Dad was on the railway, he used to have 4 free tickets a year. You could go anywhere on the South East Coast. So we used to have days here and days there, and then the rest of the time we'd either go to Appledore and stay with his sister.
School, where the community centre is now at the side. That was the baby room, infant school. I was 3. Yeah, and they took my brother as well. And I was a year and 9 months older than him, so how old was he? He was able to come and go as well and sit with us. We had what was a gallery.
Some do the cup, some do make hay dilly dilly, some do fresh corn. Whilst you and I dilly dilly set ourselves warm.